One of the earliest regions of America to be prospected were the lands near the Hudson River. By the early 1600s, the Dutch were sailing up and down the Hudson and were the first to colonize this region. Tales of a crystal mountain in the lands west of the Hudson drew prospectors and adventurers well before the region was colonized. These legendary mountains are known today as the Shawangunks, and even today quartz crystals can be found here in abundance. The Dutch knew that these crystals were a sure sign of valuable minerals and ores just beneath the surface. We are heading deep into the Shawangunk Mountains to seek these lead mines and the famous quartz crystals that drew prospectors here 3 centuries ago.
Well, we have some kind of crevasse here. I can't tell if it's man-made. That hill is man-made.
What makes you think that?
That's a dump right there. So I'm going right to that. Well, we're in the area of a lead mine, and we found a cutting near the trail. We worked our way up the hill through all these bugs and brambles, and the first thing we see now is just a conspicuous mound, which by our trained eye we know is a tailings pile. So there's going to be an adit nearby. Yeah, come on up. We found a tailings pile.
You have a whole colony of...
Here's some quartz crystals
gnats.
right off the bat.
Got some quartz?
Yeah. Let's go check it out.
You see your first evidence of mining activity, an adit from the 1800s.
We bushwhacked for quite a ways. We were looking for some other adits that are connected to this mine, and all of the other adits are pretty soil eroded shut, but this one isn't. And we know that this mine was worked as early as 1836, and they drove a haulage adit in 1838 in the hopes of finding and just removing a lot of lead ore. Yeah, so far I'm seeing a lot of hand-drilled holes. So this tunnel was driven with brute force. Here, this discoloration here, I know it's hard to see on camera, but when this was freshly exposed, that was probably a wow to the miners. And they found this. They're like, okay, well, this is what we're looking for. Now let's follow the vein northeast. So they did, and they drove this tunnel here, and this would be essentially what's called the drift. Okay, so this is where the tunnel follows the vein, and as they drive this tunnel, they also examine all of the minerals to see if they have something that's going to make them money, obviously. So I'm going to get to work on some of this rock over here, and I might need a hammer, but let's just try to pick away at this a little bit. All right, we have potentially sphalerite at the base of this quartz crystallization. I'm going to leave this right here and continue the hunt. I see something? I thought I saw, maybe not. So this is just a small collection of crystal fragments that you can find laying around in here. When you're driving a tunnel and you find something of value and you're like, oh, I just got to go, another foot or another 3 feet. Wait, I just gotta go 2 more feet. I know I'm almost there. Oh, wait, you can keep doing that for hundreds of feet, and find nothing. So You know, it's very tempting. You know, it's kind of like gambling in a sense. It's like, I know if I just pull that lever enough times, I'll make up the $20,000 I sunk. But you may never get back that money, you know, and it's the same thing with a mine. The only difference is that it's not so random. I mean, every speck of mineral is here for a reason. You may not know the reason, but there is a pattern to it. I feel like if I just dig here long enough, I'll find something.
I don't know when it was introduced, but it's very prolific. It's everywhere. Yeah, I'll show you where it is. Probably not going to be down there.
Sometimes you just find a mine on a map and you just follow your compass and your intuition and you're there and it's well marked and you can maybe get some ideas to the history. This mine really kind of like goes beyond all of our heads because there's no real good documentation on this, but it appears in one document and it mentions falls called Buttermilk Falls. And so kind of putting two and two together, the coordinate for Buttermilk Falls was exactly the same coordinate as this adit into the hillside. All right, so we're gonna head into mine right now, under the waterfall. Try to stay dry, but can't promise you that. And it is loud. Water's crashing down. We seem to be drying up a little bit here, and the ground isn't quite so mucky, but I'll tell you, this is one of the muddiest mines that I've seen. But the tracks are in fairly decent shape considering the age. And here we have a side tunnel. Huh. But let's continue this way. And you can still faintly hear the roaring of the waterfall over the tunnel entrance. This is probably the best preserved part of the railroad. You can see the ties. I mean, it's very primitive. It doesn't even look like it was sawed to any specific proportions. It's just, I mean, then again, it's possible too, it just rotted away. But yeah, here you can see that they space the ties pretty far apart from one another. There's a tie here. There could be some missing that, you know, just didn't make it, but the ones that I see are pretty spaced pretty far apart. So I guess they were trying to save money on lumber, but not so much on rail, because the rail is pretty heavy-duty rail for a mine of that doesn't go that far. And evidence of the rails are kind of fading away at this point, but it could just be that it's so muddy that I just can't make them out. But yeah, looks like we've reached an end. Wow, but really, what a well-formed tunnel. What a well-proportioned tunnel this is. But why would they stop here?
Although the mines we visited did not date back to the days of the original Dutch miners, we still gained a better understanding of what it was like to mine the lead found in these hills.
This is just a small collection
Seeing minerals and crystals locked in the rock certainly brought out our inner prospector. The discomfort of the wet and cold was no match for the drive to find the Earth's mineral treasures. A drive that those early prospectors must have been very familiar with centuries ago.